Hello, viewers at home. Welcome back to another married talk show. If marriage is hard work. On today's show, I have my guest all the way from Nigeria, West Africa. Oh, yeah. So I have my guest in the house, Mr. Abayomi, who will be sharing his own wealth of wisdom with us today. And today's show is actually going to be wow. I can't wait for us to start this show. And before we start the show, we would like to give you a shout out. Please let us know where you're joining us from. We would like to appreciate you for joining this show. Please leave all that in the comment section so that we can give you a shout out to appreciate you again. And welcome back again. This is married talk show if marriage is hard work. And on the show today, I have my guest all the way from Nigeria, West Africa, Mr. Abayomi. And I will be introducing him to you now. Thank you so much, Mr. Abayomi, for joining today's show. Despite all the stress, the network glitch, and we finally have you on the show. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers at home today, sir, before we dive in?
Thank you, my dear sister Cecelia Howard. I really appreciate you for having me on your show this evening. I am Ogunboye Abayomi, as rightly been introduced. And in all and all, the glitch being experienced over time is part of the experiences we all expected from the part of the world in Nigeria.
Well,
But being as it may, is part of the things we all expected. And I would love to give the weight of my knowledge on the marriage position when the session kickstarts. Thank you.
thank you so much, Mr. Abayomi, for that wonderful introduction. Actually, we've had um, 11 guests on the show. So I actually trust that you're going to shout at the table today, and I also know that our viewers at home they are going to learn a lot from you. The main reason why we put this show together is to help married couples to stay married and to help young adults out there who are looking up to embrace this institution called marriage to be able to choose right and to know where there is red flag. So we're really, really happy to have you on the show today. And to start this show, I always ask my guests two questions, and I'll let you run the show, drive the show. So the first question I'm going to ask you today, sir, is what do you think marriage is all about? And the second question is, do you think marriage is hard work, or do you think marriage requires a hard work? Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I think this is a question I've been expecting, and it boils down to the standard of expectation, if I may say. And let me go by answering the first question and giving my own weight of knowledge into that. I think I have to give a concise definition of what marriage, in my own understanding, could be to people out there. And the definition goes by saying it's a legal marriage, is a legal and socially recognized union between two people that can mean different things to different people and couples.
Hmm.
In this case,
Hmm.
I have the singular pronoun to
Hmm.
tell you
Hmm.
marriage could be different things to different people, depends
Hmm.
on the way you approach it.
Hmm.
Depends on the way you manage it.
Hmm.
In my own case, I handle marriage in a way that I think, oh, future has to be secured.
Hmm.
And in the couple of all this discussion, we have to consider one standard fact.
Hmm.
In marriage, you must establish the first fact, which is called commitment.
Hmm.
That commitment is significant in terms of relationship where both partners has to establish the word of life forever.
Hmm.
Come about achieving all this.
Hmm.
We have to come by sharing our responsibilities.
Hmm.
Sharing our responsibilities might not necessarily mean my wife has to go in separate ways. Why I have to go in separate ways?
Hmm.
We have to just share things in common.
Hmm.
Openness has to
Hmm.
come in that very commitment. If
Hmm.
you have a kind of bonds that
Hmm.
are often characterized
Hmm.
by love,
Hmm.
tolerance,
Hmm.
support, and harmony to crown it all. So if
Hmm.
you look at the word I just mentioned, you will
Hmm.
see some facts attached to what is called marriage and the bond attached to it. It equally requires a legal and financial obligations. And what do I mean? In a legal contract we are going to be signing, we must establish rights and obligation between spouses,
Hmm.
which produce the children and factor in the in-laws in the process.
Hmm.
That is the legal binding. The financial obligation set in that process. What do I give to my wife? How do I take care of my children? What do I put to my in-law out there? Those things has to be put in the best perspective when we are establishing marriage. It
Hmm.
as well requires acceptance.
Hmm.
Both parties has to accept one another, each other
Hmm.
rather.
Hmm.
We have to tolerate each other in any form.
Hmm.
In any circumstances, we learn to tolerate ourselves in order to build what is called marriage.
Hmm.
By the time you are patient enough as a man to listen to your wife, I think it goes a long way. It speaks much about the marriage. It speaks much about the volume of the marriage and what the marriage can build. But the fact that there is a grace of God in marriage, there are factor things to put into consideration,
Hmm.
which are just mentioned. Those things
Hmm.
are those things are the ingredients that build up marriages.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
besides all this, it creates rooms of families. And how does it create rooms of families? When you bring two families from different backgrounds together, they can either be nuclear or extended. And what do you do to these families? You don't say because I've produced a nuclear family, the wife of my family will never be given consideration. My
Hmm.
own extended family should not be given consideration.
Hmm.
So those are the things we should consider in terms of marriages.
Hmm.
Marriage gives hope when it comes to that. It gives hope and raising children. These are very key things. But
Hmm.
when we are raising these children, are we raising them for God? Are we
Hmm.
raising them for men? Are we raising them for what?
Hmm.
It will build our future. That is how we raise all these children.
Hmm.
So we keep talking when it comes to marriages. But let me just finalize by saying this. Let me just finalize by putting a peg to the first question. Let
Hmm.
me constantly tell you this. The meaning of marriage is unique to individual, to each
Hmm.
individual and
Hmm.
couple, and it is shaped by their personal beliefs and
Hmm.
values.
Hmm.
You can see the qualities embedded in marriages. If all these qualities are not forthcoming, it is not supposed to be called marriage.
Hmm. Hmm.
Thank you. I think, should I go to the second question?
Yes, sir. Please. Please do,
Okay.
sir. Hmm.
Concisely,
Hmm.
you ask a brief question if marriage is a hard work.
Hmm.
Well, marriage, to me, I think it can be hard work, and I'm going to give some instances.
Hmm.
I'm going to give some instances that makes marriage a hard work because I'm going to streamline some things in order to ensure the viewers at home, the listeners at home, they gain one or two things from whatever we are going to share tonight.
Hmm.
And what are these things? Let me give a first position about marriage. Marriage is regarded as hard work because it requires two people with different personalities, habits, backgrounds, perspectives to learn and live together and built and shared a given life.
Hmm.
Do you get what it means?
Hmm.
We are both, after marriage, we are both going to be together from different backgrounds.
Hmm.
We are going to come together with different habits, different
Hmm.
personalities.
Hmm.
We build relationship does not say we are going to behave the same way.
Hmm.
In the course of doing that, we have to tolerate.
Hmm.
And I'm going to give you some reasons. I'm going to share some reasons why marriage can be hard work.
Hmm.
When it comes to number one of this thing is
Hmm.
communication.
Hmm.
When marriage lacks communication,
Hmm.
partners may expect
Hmm.
more from other parties. But
Hmm.
actually, that is what marriage is all about. But
Hmm.
it shouldn't be the details of our expectations in marriage. As
Hmm.
much as what we all expect in marriage, we should take tolerance, understanding to be the best of whatever that is therein.
Hmm.
Do you understand why I was sharing my first definition? The first definition I shared there, I said in communication, you
Hmm.
can, as a wife, you
Hmm.
might either be introvert or I'm an extrovert.
Hmm.
In that very case, some will be a fast learner,
Hmm.
the other one might not be a fast learner.
Hmm.
But in marriage, you must understand all these things. And
Hmm.
that is why I believe it's a hard work
Hmm.
to achieve.
Hmm.
So I'm taking you to number two, the expectation of couples in marriage. We should not, in details, expect much in marriages.
Hmm.
What do I mean? Your assumption as a wife might totally not be agreed with when we are building up marriages.
Hmm.
My assumption in marriages, in the expectation in marriage, might not be the same with yours. We sit down, we brainstorm, and we look at it together.
Hmm.
So this takes me down to the finances. In the issue of finances, it's our legal responsibility
Hmm.
that each other should be able to expose in a naked form whatever we are going to put together. For
Hmm.
example, my wife should not at any point hide a lot about her finances away from me.
Hmm.
And as a salary earner, I must equally be open to my wife as well.
Hmm.
So those are the values we get in marriage. And the reality of this marriage is what we practically just get involved in marriages.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I've been seeing different things from the beginning of this marriage. Like, oh, it can be difficult. Those are the practicalities about it, and these are the realities. The difficulties expected, especially at the beginning and the later, find it so greater. Some people might be finding it so greater in marriages to be saying, oh, by the time I married to you, we are going to hold the whole world. No,
Hmm.
that expectation should never be the first priority. The
Hmm.
first priority in marriage is how do we cohabit? How do we live
Hmm.
together? How do we understand ourselves?
Hmm.
So in some to continue with all this view, we must equally attribute some challenges, and that challenges I'm going to itemize them. These are some of the problems in marriages, and I'm going to put them one after the other.
Hmm.
Number one on this very view is intimacy issues.
Hmm.
We must learn to be closer to each other.
Hmm.
The moment we continue sharing things differently,
Hmm.
it is not called marriage. It is more or less called marriage of disputes.
Hmm.
We should always learn to be together. We must not be creating values differently.
Hmm.
If somebody said my wife has done something wrong, I should be able to say, oh, I take responsibility. I think I will speak to her when I get home.
mm,
In that very case, I've covered the face of the family. I've covered my
mm,
face, I've covered my wife's face, I've covered the face of the family.
mm,
Part of the challenges we have in marriages is jealousy.
mm, mm,
If I'm a man and I'm too jealous, it will affect in marriage. If as a woman you are too jealous, it will
mm,
affect in marriage. This
mm,
takes me down to the next challenge I'm going to put out again. Boldness.
mm,
We should never learn to exercise boredom in marriage.
mm,
It doesn't say we must not be having issues. It doesn't
mm,
say we must not be having a rancor. But
mm,
how do we manage this? The moment you are not talking to me, you are not talk, I'm not talking to you. Boredom set in.
mm,
And there is another chronic position we have to understand very, very critical. Disrespecting, irrespective of that position. For the fact
mm,
that I'm a man, it doesn't give me any position to disrespect my wife.
mm,
And a woman should equally learn never to disrespect our husband.
mm,
Those are some of the values we should learn to achieve in system. In marriages, the moment you fail to know that on no circumstances should a woman disrespect the man or the man disrespects the woman, I think
mm,
marriage is not working out in that very regard.
mm,
Additionally, boundaries will never be given rooms to.
mm,
Yes. For example, how do you give rooms for boundaries? I said it as part of my boredom.
mm,
I'm not saying we should not be having challenges at home.
mm,
But whatever we give a room for can equally destroy that marriage.
mm,
If I give a space too much for my wife, before
mm,
you know, something negative could set in.
mm,
So that is additional advice in that very regard.
mm,
And additionally, I think I'm going to say this as part of our health issues. Excessive going towards stress should equally be well managed. Those are part of the challenges we have. Problems in marriages. For example, if the man is too stressful, the husband will reap it in the nearest future. And if the woman is equally doing same, it's not going to work out in that marriage too.
mm,
So finally, let me say this that crowns it all.
mm,
Possibly I'm not taking most of your time, and I'm
no,
sorry if I've done that.
no,
It's a
no.
of infidelity.
Mm,
Infidelity is a serious issue, it's a serious problem in marriage. I'm taking a woman behind my wife. My wife is taking a man behind my wife. Even
mm,
biblically, it is against what the Bible preaches. It is against what we should learn from the irrespective of the religion. I don't think it is
mm.
acceptable. On this note, I think I put a comment to whatever I've been saying since, and I would love to listen to the comment from our dear Cecelia Awards. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, my brother, Mr. Abayomi. Thank you so much, sir. You actually said a lot of wealth of wisdom within that space of almost 17 minutes. And I was actually busy taking notes myself. You said a lot, sir. You said a lot of things. And I'm just going to pick like one or two points from what you said. And to just to buttress your point on that, and also to ask you to give example on that. So one of the points you said, and which will be beneficial for young adults that want to get married and the people that are already married. One of the things you said is that a good marriage, in a good marriage, there should never be something like, this is mine, this is yours. And you also said that there should never be something like setting boundaries for each other. Sir, I would like you to really, really um, elaborate on that. Then the third thing, which is actually related to that, you said in a good marriage, there should never be things like, this is my money and this is your money. That transparency must be the key for marriages to work.
Yes.
What is going to be your advice to married couples that are married, but they find it, especially maybe the male, the husband, they find it, or the wife, they find it so difficult to be open to their wife about their finances, or they find it so difficult to see that whatever I have belongs to my spouse, and they are trying to set boundaries like, don't cross this line. I know we're married, but don't cross this line. This is me. You can't cross this line. What would be your advice? Because it seems as if the way you said it, like, uh, boundaries are good. You set boundaries for other people. But if you're married and you see your partner as yourself, you can't set boundaries. That will cause friction. That will affect the friendship. That will affect the openness. That will affect the ability for you both to see each other finish, like rely on each other, relate with each other as friends, which is most very, very important for every marriages. So what would be your advice for married couples that are doing this, setting these boundaries, making it, this is my money, this is your money, and this is my thing and this is your thing. And the other one will be for the young unmarried adults that are trying to, they are dating people that cannot even share anything with them. They can't allow them into their space. There is still this barrier like, don't cross this line. And they are about to get married to that person, or they are planning, they have the intent to marry that person. What would be your advice to these two set of people? Because I know you've been married for almost maybe running to close to 20 years or something. I know you've been married for a long time, and I admire your marriage so much. So what
Thank
will
you
be
very
your
much.
advice for this set of people? Thank you.
Um, Thank you, my distinguished host. I sincerely appreciate this question, and I'm going to summarily just say it in this form. I think for the intending couples or a matured minds people who are planning to go into marriage,
Hmm,
there are factors to put into consideration.
hmm,
When you know this person is coming up to say, I want to seek your hand in marriages,
hmm,
the first level we have to just go is we court for a period of time.
hmm,
Using my own case as a point of contact, I think for a couple of years, I think I was with my wife for over 8 years and all that.
hmm,
There are a lot of things I think she can say about me, and I think she can say about me.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah, you are just back, sir. You're back,
Sorry,
sir.
I think yes, I
Yeah,
think
you
yes.
said there are
A
a
lot
lot
of
of things that your wife can say
yes,
about you, and that was where the network was glitching, sir.
interrupted. Yes, there are a lot of things my wife could say about me, and there are a lot of things I can say about my wife.
Hmm.
And the point is, whatever I have should be what my wife has.
Hmm.
Whatever I direct at the affairs of the home is what my wife should equally comply with.
Hmm.
Oh, daddy, please, I wouldn't love this to happen. It doesn't start when you finally married.
Hmm.
It starts when you are dating, coming together, and what have you.
Hmm.
The moment you finally understand some things cannot work,
Hmm.
it starts from where the man will be telling you, oh, this is the direction I'm going to, and the woman will be telling you, this is the direction I'm going to, and they are going, in fact, against each other.
Hmm.
It's not a woman cannot tell a man, oh, please, darling, I wouldn't love you to go to that place.
Hmm.
Oh, the next question is, oh, what have you noticed? It's not I've noticed anything, I think it's a wrong track.
Hmm.
And if you don't go through that direction, I think it's going to be good for both of us.
Hmm.
Oh, I think, okay, since you suggested that, I think I'm fine. We are set for church. You understand? Oh, daddy, I got my salary yesterday, but since your own has not come, I think this is placed on the table. You can pick part of it and this thing. It is not until you marry that system should start from.
Hmm.
The moment you people are doing it from the period of dating,
Hmm.
courting to a
Hmm.
point where you are going to marry, you will understand some basic things.
Hmm.
It's not until when you married, a lot of things might not be known. I know people will tell you, oh, women pretend a lot, oh, men will not tell you their true color until you are finally married. Yes, agreed. That is a fact. But the true picture is a lot of things can never be hidden away because
Hmm.
it is natural.
Hmm.
A lot of things can never be taken away. They are completely natural in woman. No matter how perfect a woman could pretend up to, a lot of things will be sensed.
Hmm.
So you will sense this. If you don't sense this, you sense some things. If the woman, in fact, a woman can sense a lot of things for a man to get some things. The same thing, a man can get set a lot of things for to get some facts about a woman.
Hmm.
So our finances should be well managed. Boundaries being set are things to say, oh, I wouldn't want this to happen for this period. These are the things I think we can equally put together. We manage a lot of things together.
Hmm.
It is not until when we are married.
Hmm.
When we are married, it's going to continue from there, but it shouldn't start when we are married.
Hmm.
If somebody cannot equally just manage circumstances,
Hmm.
situation with you when
Hmm.
you're not both married,
Hmm.
definitely know that marriage is
Hmm.
not going to work.
Hmm.
A lot of challenges the broken homes are having today
Hmm.
is lack of tolerance,
Hmm.
lack of
Hmm.
understanding,
Hmm.
lack of basic ideology. At
Hmm.
times it could come from the women where, oh, I don't want to listen to my man, I caught him cheating and all
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
A lot of things can come into that direction.
Hmm.
You look for a counselor. A
Hmm.
counselor can sit you down, a
Hmm.
counselor can put a lot of things together, even
Hmm.
for your own benefit.
Hmm.
I think that is that about that, please.
Hmm. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, really, really appreciate that. Yeah, your answer actually touched both. Um, so for married couples that they are experiencing the same thing, setting boundaries, this is my thing, this is your thing, this is my money. What you are saying in essence is that they should seek counsel, right?
They should seek counsel, yes.
Good, good. Wow. Thank you so much, sir. I really, really appreciate a lot of wealth of wisdom that you've poured out into our people today. It
Thank
was a
you.
lot. Even myself, I gained a lot from having this conversation with you, and I do not take that for granted. And I also hope that our viewers at home, they've been able to learn one or two things today. You really, really shut out the table and you poured out a lot of wealth of wisdom. We really, really appreciate you, sir. And thank you for your time. And my prayer is that God Almighty will continue to uphold your home, uphold your marriage,
Amen.
uphold
Amen.
everything that concerns you in Jesus' name. Thank you so much, sir.
Amen.
And I hope that if we call you next time, you will be able to come on the show if we call you next time, sir.
Definitely. Definitely, ma'am. I will. Thank
Thank
you
you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate,
sir.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you
To
very
the
much.
viewers at home, this is where we're going to stop this Married Talk show for today's edition. And I hope my guest was able to pour a lot of wealth of wisdom into us to let us know that marriage can be hard work if some foundational things are not done. If you missed this from the beginning, I will advise you to please go back and watch this, and also try to share this with people that you know that are looking up to embrace this institution called marriage, and also share it with the married couples that you know because they have a lot to benefit. And we'll leave this with you today, our viewers at home. Let us know what you think about today's show. Comments, we will get the comments and we will try to address that by next time we come on the show. And this is to your girl, Cecelia Howard. And thank you so much for taking out of your busy time to join the show today. I hope I'm going to see you next week, same time. And I wish you a wonderful week and a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye for now. Thank you.